I'm Alex. I'm with Cloze. Thanks for joining our EXP CRM of Choice session today. I'm going to start off with some slides. I'm going to give you an overview of what Cloze is all about. This session is about getting you started. So I'm going to go through the first section here pretty quickly, and then we'll dive into the full training. As a reminder, my colleagues are in EXP world and on YouTube. We're streaming in both places, so feel free to ask as many questions as you'd like. They're there to answer questions. Beginning here, I'm just going to run through an overview, make sure you've got a good understanding. In case you haven't been to any of our other classes, we do have classes every Monday and Wednesday. We still got another 3 weeks, I think, of classes somewhere around there. Every Monday and Wednesday at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern time. So please join those sessions. They are rotating, so we'll do an intro, and then today is getting started. Then we got another one that comes up on Wednesday that we'll go through using Cloze on a daily basis. So I'm going to dive in, tell you a little bit about Cloze, and then we'll dive into the full training class next. So if you're not familiar with Cloze, we're an AI-powered sales and marketing platform that includes a CRM, marketing automation, and lead management. We're the brand standard for companies like Sotheby's International Realty, Corcoran, and Windermere, all brands where sphere selling is the core of what their agents do. This is how their agents get their business from repeat clients and referrals. This is one of the key reasons we're part of the EXP CRM of Choice program. Lofty and bold trail, great for businesses driven purely off lead gen. We're great at that too, but for sphere selling, nothing compares to Cloze. And I'm going to show you why. Now, when you first come into Cloze, you're going to set up your account. We're going to walk you through connecting a variety of things. What makes Cloze different is that we eliminate all that traditional busy work. And one of the ways we do that is by automatically keeping track of all your communication for you, so you don't have to do it. Traditional CRM, you got to manually log everything. That's a lot of work. With Cloze, you don't have to do that. So what you're going to see when you're setting your account up is the ability to connect your email accounts. You can connect as many email accounts to Cloze as you like. So connect your Google account, your Gmail, connect your Outlook account, connect your iCloud, Yahoo, GoDaddy, whatever you got. You got an old AOL account, you still use it for business, that's great, you can connect it to. So connect as many as you want, but connect the ones you use for business. That's the key thing. When you connect Google or Microsoft 365 or iCloud, we're going to bring in your calendar too. So we're going to bring all the history of your meetings with your clients, all that's going to come in too. One of the most unique features about Cloze and loved is our ability to automatically track both your calls and your texts on your mobile phone. So without having to change your phone number or anything like that, keep your phone number, Cloze will automatically track it. So once you set that up, all your calls, all your texts, iPhone and Android will automatically be tracked for you, which is pretty cool if you think about it. You don't have to get a new number. Cloze is keeping track of it all the way back in time. So you get a really good, rich set of data that Cloze can use to help you out. And so our personal assistant will kick in and start analyzing all that information, understand who's important to you. And if you get out of touch, we're going to start reminding you automatically. We'll talk a little bit about more of that in a minute. But if you've been paying attention to any of the artificial intelligence that you've probably been seeing go by on social media and other places, artificial intelligence needs a lot of information. And so that's how Cloze is able to do a lot of things on your behalf. It's analyzing this history of communications and helping you out. So as we get into the personal assistant features of Cloze, that's how that all works. So practical sense, all your calls, texts, emails, meetings, all tracked automatically for you. Makes a big, big difference. Also, a lot of other things you connect. So we're going to talk a little bit about SkySlope and Zenlist today. You can also connect Canva to Cloze. I think you're going to love that integration. We got a very deep integration with Canva, but all kinds of other things too. So if you happen to use RealSky, you can connect that. If you use .loop, you can connect that. So there's all kinds of different tools. BombBomb's really popular, Calendly, lots and lots of different apps. We're integrated with over 100 different services and apps that you can connect to Cloze. So you may be thinking, okay, well, there's a lot of information flowing through Cloze. Who can see my information? Really good, natural question. The answer is no one can see your information but you. It's your personal content. It's not ours. We operate outside the United States, all over the world. And so we have to follow the strictest privacy and data protection laws in the world. That's just what we have to do. In fact, if you operate in some of these regions like Europe, you also have to comply with those laws. So if you've got any questions about that, feel free to ask our team. But we've got tools to help you comply with things like the GDPR. Okay. So big picture, Nobody can see your content. And that goes for the Cloze team too. Our support team can't see anything in your account, and neither can our engineers. So it makes our life a little harder, but on the other hand, everything's private and secure, and that's the way it should be. We use Cloze here internally, and I don't want anybody seeing my text messages either, right? Now, we do have features as you get a little further along that you can share. You could invite your assistant. You can delegate access, we call it, or you can work on a team. But in all those scenarios, we've got lots of rules. In fact, even in those scenarios, you can control who can see what. So you could have your assistant in there doing some work for you, but still keep your email and text conversation private and notes, things like that. So a lot of controls. Nothing is ever shared with anybody else. We've never sold data. We never will. Very much your information. Now, of course, another thing that's very important when you're talking about trying a new system, getting on board with a new system that's offered by your brokerage, natural question will be, well, can I get my information out if I ever needed to? Totally fair question. What makes Cloze very different is that traditional CRMs tend to be one big database. So all agent information is commingled together. And that makes it very hard to get out. With Cloze, every single agent, all of you, have individual Cloze accounts. They're one unique database. And there's no commingling of data. So data is never brought together. So if you want to unplug and take your account with you to maybe another EXP team, you could do so. Very easy to do. Happens all the time. You can also export information, take your account with you. Nobody likes to talk about leaving EXP, but if you ever did, you could take your entire Cloze account with you. That is completely possible. So I know you're going to invest a lot of time. You're going to start diving in and using it. Know that your information is portable and you can take it with you. Last thing I'll say on this slide is that you can start slow. So if you don't want to connect your phone right away, totally fine. You can do that later. Makes Cloze better, and people love that feature, but I also understand if you want to wait and add that later. You can add any account at any time. It doesn't matter. So if you want to just add one email account, ease into it, totally fine. When you do connect accounts, you have even further control. For example, you can exclude tracking of family and friends. Kind of a common thing to do, but tricky in real estate because for sphere selling, we tend to work with our family and friends. So that's a tricky part of it, but there are ways to protect and make that information more private. But again, nobody can see it but you, but also totally understand. Okay. So that's how all that works. You got any questions about any of that? Let us know. Let's dive into personal assistant a little bit. So imagine you get a referral. Somebody refers a client to you. So could be a client you've worked with in the past. They refer you a new person, get an introduction, and they say, hey, give me a call on Saturday morning. One of the cool things that Cloze does is on Saturday morning, we're going to catch that in the email and remind you on Saturday morning. So Cloze behind the scenes is analyzing your email to understand if you need to get things done. And oh, by the way, it already created a contact for you automatically. You didn't have to do anything. And it's automatically tracking all of your activity with that person. Traditional CRM, you have to cut and paste and create the contact, and we all know what happens. That just doesn't happen. In fact, when we've studied this, only about 12% of the people you interact with ever get into your database. The other 88% never make it there because it's just so much work. So what Cloze will do behind the scenes is automatically create your contacts, start tracking all your activity, and even catch things you might have missed. In this case, we found in the email, there was also an email signature. So Cloze will automatically update the contact with that information as well. So the only thing you ever have to focus on is whether this person's on your warm list, your hot list, are they a buyer, are they a seller, renter? That's it. Makes it really easy. Today's class is all about organizing those people. So when we talk about organizing Cloze, instead of creating contacts, we're really talking about just going through and saying warm, hot, buyer, seller, in contract, whatever it might be, but it's very basic. You don't have to do all that traditional heavy lifting you have to do with other CRMs. One of our most popular features, and we've got a whole class on this, is our ability to automatically track and understand who's important to you. So Cloze will analyze your full history of communications, understand who you know and who you know well. If you get out of touch with the people you know well, Cloze is going to remind you automatically. Super simple. And you can take action right inside of Cloze. So you're on our iPhone app, swipe, get on the phone with them, have a phone call, reach out, email them, text them. So it makes it very easy to take action. Instead of having to create a list of all the things you might need to do, Cloze brings it together and gives you a plan every single day. And that's what we call our Cloze Agenda. It's like your action plan for the day. So that's our next class. You can join that one. We'll go into more details on how to use it on a daily basis, but it really helps you stay close to your sphere, stay in live flow, make sure you're connecting with them on a regular basis. So when they're ready to refer or they're ready to transact themselves, they think of you first. Now we've got all kinds of automation you can use too, but when it comes to staying in live flow, these features, all based on your real communication behavior, make a big, big difference. That's why I like to always bring up Julia here, because she's been using Cloze now, I think about 4 years, and she was in the same position you are in the same exact class and super skeptical, right? This isn't going to work. I've tried a million CRMs, tried a million different tools, and they're just a lot of work. So skeptically, she went to the class. She did what she was supposed to do. She dove in. She started checking her agenda and popped up a client that she had worked with in the past. And she did what we recommended, which is just reach out, say hello, check in on them, see how they're doing. Jen talked in a long time, and he was ready to buy again. So her advice here is don't overthink it. The AI will work. It will help you. And that's the whole point of AI. It will surface people that are important. It's not going to just surface arbitrary people. Stick with the system. It will make a big difference. So today's class is all about organizing your core sphere. So it's the people that really matter to you. That's what we're focused in on. You can organize other people over time, but build strong relationships with a core group of people, and it will yield a ton of business. If you look at the NAR statistics, that's where the vast majority of business comes from anyway. We spend a ton of money on leads, and that can lead to a lot of waste. But if you focus on your sphere, you can have a very, very strong business. To keep you on track, we have automatic goal tracking. Now, if you've ever used the Apple Health app, or if you've ever used the equivalent on an Android device, this is really the same thing, but just for your relationships. So if you think of how a health app works, is you can set it up. It just starts tracking your movement. How many steps, how many stairs? Are you an elite athlete and running marathons every few weeks? Or are you sitting behind a desk? It understands exactly how you move and who you are. And then those rings will start popping up, and it will tell you a few more steps, a few more flights of stairs, and you get there. Cloze is the exact same way, but with that relationship information. So by connecting your email, your phone, your calls, all that stuff, what we're doing is analyzing that full history back in time and then setting those rings. So how much outreach do you typically do as an agent? And you're going to be different than your peer that's in the same team. Everybody interacts a little differently, right? So Cloze is going to automatically set up these goals for you, set your outreach goals. Reactions are the inbound, so they reply back to you. And if you're staying close to the right people, you will have reactions. And then when you connect your SkySlope account, so that is important, skysloper.loop, you'll start to see the side information, GCI, that'll all come in too. So it's very personal and precise to you. It also understands the ebbs and flows of your week and real estate in general. So if you do most of your outreach on a Wednesday, it's not going to hit you too hard on a Monday or a Sunday, but it'll start to nudge you more. And you'll get nudges, just like the health app nudges you to do a few more steps. Cloze will nudge you to do a few more outreaches that day. Okay. Great thing to dig into, but the key thing is you don't have to do anything to set it up. It just works. We're also going to notify you, remind you about key dates, celebrations, purchase anniversary, sale anniversary, birthdays, real estate reviews. You can also set up rental expiry, so lease expirations, that kind of thing. All that can be set up if you want. When you do connect SkySlope, we will automatically set the purchase anniversary, sale anniversary on your side. So those just come in automatically. So that's one of the key reasons I'm going to show you how to connect your SkySlope account. Makes a big difference in how you get going. Okay. So today's class, we're going to go into how you start organizing that sphere, those people that really matter to you. You're going to hear me say a number of times, this is about focus. So we're going to focus in on that core group of people. Cloze is going to have a lot more contacts in it than other systems you may have used. We're going to push a lot of that off to the side in a section called Discovered People. I'll give you a peek at that as we go through, but the bulk of the contacts are going to be in there automatically. So I'm going to go through a little bit of a review of key sections and then some settings, and then we're going to get into organizing your sphere of influence. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go into this demo account here. you're going to see when you first get set up, you're going to see a section here called Getting Started. This is going to walk you through some built-in assistance. So how to get your account set up. There's a ton more you can do with Cloze, but if you do these basic things, you're going to be in really good shape for everything else. So we want to get the foundation out of the way, and then you can do things like setting up your team or starting to understand lead programs or drip campaigns or any of the marketing capabilities that we have. So this is like a layer cake. We're going to start with this base part, and then we're going to go. So as you look through Cloze, you're going to see a variety of different sections here. You're going to see the agenda. Again, that's that class that I got on Wednesday. Outreach, these are the goals we were just talking about. Inbox, this is your inbox. The inbox you're going to see broken up into 3 parts: focused, all mail, and bulk. Focused, that's your email with real people. This is a demo account, so not much in there. You're going to have a lot more email. All mail, that's the combination of focused and bulk. So if you're curious, go in there. I use Cloze to send and receive email all day long. You can delete emails, archive emails, reply, respond, all the tough stuff you'd expect to do. You can do that in Cloze. We'll teach you in the next class how to follow up with those folks that were surfacing for you automatically using email. So we got a lot of features on top of email. But one of the nice things about Cloze is that it uses your real email. So if you automate anything, it's being sent with your real email. People section, this is where all your contacts are going to be. We're going to start in the My People area. Those are all the contacts that Cloze has brought in from your Google account, your Microsoft 365 account, your phone, if you've connected your phone, which we highly recommend. I'll talk about that in a moment. If you've imported a spreadsheet, or if you've reached out to our team to have our team import your spreadsheet, you're going to see that contacts in here. Contacts from SkySlope, they're going to come in here too. So this is where all your contacts are going to live. So they're going to live in a section called My People. If you want to poke around and see who Cloze has discovered beyond these people that you formally have created in one system or another, you can take a look at discovered people. Discovered people are the people, just as we decide, just as it's described, those are the people that Cloze found that you're interacting with through email, text, other places, but you haven't formally said this is a contact anywhere else. Very easy to move somebody from discovered to my. All you got to do is organize them. So apply a tag, that kind of thing, and it will become a person over in My People. For now, don't worry about discovered people. We'll get there over time. Properties, this is where your listings are going to come in automatically from EXP into Cloze. So you don't have to manually create any kind of listings or anything like that to track them, but they will come in. So as you have listings, you're going to see them in here. The nice thing about this integration is you can then easily create materials over in Canva. So we're going to have some other classes coming up at the beginning of September to go through how the Canva integration works, but it's a really nice feature in that you can do a single click to send them over to Canva, and it automatically creates all your materials. Saves you a ton of time. Library, this is where you can create drip campaigns, marketing emails, all kinds of content. Okay. All right. I'm going to go into settings and show you a couple things, and then we'll dive into organizing your sphere of influence. Okay. My account up here at top. This is where you can do things like add 2-step authentication. I recommend doing this for all apps and services you use. Beyond Cloze, it's just a good idea. 2-step authentication is either a text message being sent to you or you're enabled, or you can set up an authenticator app if you want to use that kind of a thing. Passkeys are a modern version of it. It uses your device to log you in. It's really the future. So you can support, we support passkeys. You can use your Mac, a browser, all kinds of different things. If you want to delegate access, so if you have an assistant who's working with you, you can do that from here. You just click on delegate, and then you can invite them. Our support team is happy to answer any questions about delegation, but if you have an assistant and you want them to do work on your behalf, delegation is perfect for you. Setting up teams, again, we want you to get set up on your own, but down the road, this is where you would set up your team. Okay, but talk to our team. They can guide you in the right direction when it comes to setting up your team when you're ready. All right, few couple of things here. Connected accounts, this is where you add other services. So I'm in a demo account. I got 2 Google accounts connected here. If I want to add something else, I simply click on the add button. And then you can go down the whole list, and there's all kinds of things here in these lists that you can go through. So just look through the list and select the service. If I'm in real estate, I can go down the list, and then I can connect things like SkySlope. BombBomb's really popular. SkySlope, Spacio, these are all different tools you can connect to Cloze. Click on SkySlope, and it's going to walk you through the steps to connect. It's that simple. We also have all kinds of help in our help center at help.cloze.com. One other thing I'll point out, I mentioned hundreds of different integrations. We do have literally hundreds of integrations. Not all of them are going to appear in these menus, though, because sometimes other providers will do the integration and they're in their menus to connect. So you're going to connect from those services. Zenlist is one of those examples. So I'm going to show you some screenshots in a moment on how to connect Zenlist. Zenlist is a great tool. I highly recommend connecting it. Works really well with Cloze. So all kinds of things you can connect. Marketing, your real estate, lots and lots of things. If you want to connect to another Google account or a Microsoft account, they're right at the top. Easy to do. All right, last thing in this section I'm going to show you is display and layout. This is where you can really make Cloze your own. So if you want to change things like the width, you can see on the left there. So I'll hit narrow and see how this got narrower. Medium is our default. You can make it really wide if you have a big monitor. You can change font size. You can kind of see how that's growing a little bit in the background. A little smaller, up to you. Control icons and things like that. And then on display mode, there's some different options. So my computer is in dark mode. You can probably kind of tell that. If I say match system, it's going to switch to dark mode because that's what my computer is on. So it's matching what the system is, which is what I'm showing here. So this is dark mode. If you love dark mode, great. But if you come in, you see it, it's all this color and you don't want dark mode, you can always change it. So that's what display and layout. That's the section I'm in right now. So light looks like that. This is kind of our standard color theme too. I could also change to dark and it goes, and then it will always be dark mode regardless. Okay. Now, if I'm in light, you're going to see some different options. Standard, this is our standard coloring. If you want a blue color, you can do that. Or if you want black, you can do black. I think black looks nice. Up to you. Now, another point here. If you are red-green colorblind, like me, the mono or black, these blue and black options are a good option for you because it makes seeing some of the colors a little easier. So I do recommend those. You're going to see betas anytime you are using Cloze. We always have different things in beta. You'll see these betas on our web app. So I'm in the web right now. More often, there's all kinds of different things you can try. Language translation, that's always in beta because we're always adding new languages. Calendar booking, you can book meetings from Cloze directly. So you can book a Google Calendar meeting or a Microsoft 365 Outlook calendar meeting right from Cloze. So you could toggle that on if you wanted it on. And then the whole class today, I'm going to be training you on how to set up and organize your contacts. We have a simplified view of that you can toggle on. I'm not going to toggle it on here, but I can show it to you later. Let's get a little further in the class. Okay. So that's the main areas of settings. You can control what's on the left here if you want to. So I'm on the desktop, and if I wanted to add a few things, I could just check them off, hit save, and you'll notice how this menu grows. It's really personal preference. How many things do you want on the left, or how many things do you want behind a menu? That kind of thing. So up to you. You can toggle things on and off. Again, totally personal preference. Okay, so let's get into the. I showed you the SkySlope, but let's go into one more here for Zenlist. I do recommend setting up SkySlope. It doesn't take very long. Again, it's going to bring in all your transactions. It's going to bring in your history. It's going to bring in the contacts that you work with in those transactions. It's going to set those purchase and sale anniversaries for you and bring in your GCI information. So it's a really good setup, good thing to add. Highly recommend it. Now, Zenlist is one of those ones where you're going to go to Zenlist to connect Cloze. So you're going to start in Zenlist. So the screenshot here, and then you're going to go to the account page, and there's a little image. You'll see your picture if it's there in the lower left corner, kind of small. And then if you select that, you can go to integrations. So tap on integrations next. And you're going to see a list of all the tools they have. You're going to see Cloze is one of those options. And then you're going to see an option to approve it. So just click on that approve button. Now, the nice thing about this integration is it brings in all the activity that you have in Zenlist into Cloze automatically. So it's really handy. You can see what they're browsing, what they favorited, their messages to you, all that activity comes in automatically. So it's really does save a ton of time. So if I was to go into this account, just gonna bring up a contact here. So you can see here all the Zenlist activity. So you can see some text messages. She was texting about this, and then she viewed this listing. You can see which one she viewed, and it goes down the list. She added a note here on this property, all the different Zenlist activities. So as those activities are happening, you'll just see them right inside of Cloze, which is really helpful. So the question we always get when you first get going is, where do I start? And that's fair for all systems. So there's going to be two classes here, this one and the one on Wednesday, where we're really focusing in on organizing your sphere. So organizing the core set of contacts that are important to your business. That's what today is all about. And then diving in to the Cloze Agenda. The Cloze Agenda, that's all about building that daily routine to stay on top of your sphere. Okay, so this is that foundation. And that's why I like this from Jay here. Jay's an agent that he's used Cloze for a long time. And his point here is that if you organize your sphere and you get it dialed into Cloze, it just completely changes how you operate, because it creates your agenda for you every day. You dive in there. As he said, literally all you have to do is log in. You log in, you do the outreach, and you're done. And so I know a lot of systems, they want you to spend as much time as possible. My recommendation is somewhere around 15 minutes to a half hour, 15, 20 minutes, and that's it. A day is all you really need to do, but you're investing in your business. And so we'll talk about that more in the next class, but it's making sure those clients that you've built up, you've spent a lot of time with, don't slip off to another agent. They come back to you. The statistics are not great for people coming back to agents, right? They always say they had a great experience and they would come back, but then 10 years later, they dripped off to somebody else because we haven't stayed in touch. So if you stay in flow, stay close, they're going to give you those repeat client engagements and they'll refer business to you. And that's the relief piece. We make it very easy to do. You don't have to figure it out on your own. A lot of systems require that. You don't have to do any of that to Cloze. It'll just remember and keep you in flow. That's why a lot of people stop using CRM, frankly, right? I always describe it as an empty box or an empty filing cabinet, because you got to put everything in by hand. So you get recommended, you got to have a CRM, you got to have a CRM. Great, you get in there and then you see a blank empty table and you got to start putting in contacts one by one by one. Ton of work. First name, last name, email address, phone number. Maybe you can import it, but usually the importing is not great. And you got to keep track of all your activity, emails, calls, texts, meetings. Nobody does that. So a lot of work. And then you even got to remind yourself, set reminders, call back on this date. Nobody wants to do that, right? So with Cloze, we're automating out all that busy work. You don't have to remember to track anything. You don't have to remember when to follow up. It just reminds you automatically. So to get you started, we want you to first focus in on getting all the key people in there. So there's three components to that. The first one's going to be checked off. So if you connected a Google account or you connected a Microsoft Outlook account, your contacts from those services is going to automatically be on Cloze. I highly recommend connecting your phone. So that's the next step in this menu. So remember the menu we were just looking at here? So the first one here is import your contacts. We're going to start there. So this one's checked off. The next one is import your phone. So the reason we bring up this mobile number is so that you can text your own mobile number there and we'll send you a link to download and install the app. Highly recommend installing the app because it's helpful just purely when you're out and about, right? All the functionality is exactly the same whether you're on the iPhone and Android or on your computer like I am now. All the same functionality. There are dedicated apps in the Apple App Store, Google Play Store. Download those apps, you get the same experience. It also is how we track calls and texts. So you need to have the mobile app to do that. What's also on your mobile phone are your contacts. People tend to put a lot more contacts on their mobile phone compared to other places. That's just because you're out and about, you're live, and you run into somebody, you take the information down, and it gets on your phone. So by bringing those over, makes a big difference. So to do that, what we're going to have you do is import your contacts from your device. You have to go over to the phone to do that because that's where the contacts live. Very simple. Go into settings like we just were, but you got to do that on your phone, and then toggle on sync iPhone contacts or sync Android contacts to Cloze. So let's take a look at that now. All right, so there's Cloze on my phone. If it's behaving, maybe not. Try this again. Live demo. All right, so there's Cloze on my iPhone. You tap on more, the lower right, so that's right here. And then settings, that's right here. And then right in the middle, you're going to see contact sync. If I tap on that, that's where those menus are. So see where it says sync iPhone contacts to Cloze? There's a toggle right here. If I toggle that on, I'm not going to do it because it's a demo account, but if I toggle that on, all my device contacts, all the contacts that live on my iPhone will automatically import into Cloze. So super simple, easy to do. We've got videos in our help center that show you how to do this. It takes 2 seconds. Once you do it, it will work continuously. Keep all your contacts up to date. So any contact you add on your phone will sync into Cloze. Any updates you make on your phone will sync into Cloze. Makes it very easy. Okay. So the next thing on the list is importing a file to Cloze. Now, if you're migrating from another CRM, you're migrating off of one of the other CRMs, or you've had a different CRM you've had for years, or you just happen to have a spreadsheet of all your contacts you use for holiday cards, or that's what you've used over the years as your CRM, you can send that spreadsheet to us and we will help you import it. So the next thing on the list here is let us import your file. So if you click on let us import your file, it will bring up an email like this one. And notice it goes to our support team, support@cloze.com. You can attach the file, just tap on this paperclip here, and then add the spreadsheets you have. You can type a few notes here about your file. Just let our team know what they're getting, and then they can give you some advice and they'll help you import it. Okay. So we make it really easy. Definitely do this option. It's not a good use of time. Our team does this all day long. They know how to do it and they'll get it imported. You can do it yourself. You can learn how to do it in the future. And we've got kind of standard mappings and things like that to make it very easy. But I'd rather have you just get in and take advantage of these live trainings and start to learn Cloze, and you'll be in good shape. Okay. So send us that file. Again, all you got to do is click import your contacts, click there, and then right here, you'll see import a file, and then let us import it for you. Easy to do. Now, if you forget all that, you can just send an email to support@cloze.com, support@cloze.com with your spreadsheet, and just let us know what you're giving us, and they'll help you import it. Okay. All right. So now we're going to dive into organizing your top contacts. Okay. Your core sphere of influence. That's our next step. You can choose whatever you want to import into Cloze. So if you've got a spreadsheet and you want to hold off, that's fine. But if that's your history of all your key relationships, I would import that into Cloze. What I wouldn't do is connect a Google account you never use for business. Or, if you're only using it for, personal, or it's a junk mail account or anything like that, that's not a good thing to connect. Cloze will handle deduplication and merging of contacts for you automatically. So don't worry about duplicates. If we see the same email address across contacts on your iPhone, you got a contact on your iPhone, you got the same exact contact in your Google contacts, and yet again on your iPad, yet again in a spreadsheet, those are all going to merge together. So don't worry about duplicates. That's not a problem with Cloze. You're not going to spend a lot of time cleaning up duplicates. I generally will say more data is better. Okay. Once you do get all your contacts into Cloze and your various accounts connected, your phone, your email, and all of that, it's going to start tracking all that activity. Each contact is going to have a timeline view. That timeline is going to have all your calls, your emails, your texts, your meetings, all that information in one place. So it's one infinitely scrolling timeline as far back in time as you know that person. Really helpful to know where you last left off, what you talked about last, that kind of thing. All the contact information will be in there automatically. So you'll see all that in one place. So it'll bring that together. So you have one place to go for all your outreach. Sometimes we're pecking around, right? Where's that mobile phone number? Is it on my phone? Is it on my Outlook? Where's that set of contact information? Cloze has it together all in one place. Okay, so when it comes to organizing sphere of influence, the key message here that I know I've said a few times is you don't need to organize all your contacts. Start small. Focus on the people that really matter. I'm going to give you some tips on how to organize, how to think about organizing, and some of the features that you use to make it fast. That's the next thing we're going to focus in on. But the key thing here is all the contacts you organize, this is the foundation for your account. It's one of the reasons we don't want you spending time archiving or deleting contacts. We want you focusing on the people that are going to be meaningful to your business. So at the end of this class, you'll know exactly how to organize and really set yourself up for the next class. It doesn't take very long to organize your course sphere. So we do this with a section we call the relationship section, and this is all about the journey. We talk about journeys in Cloze, but think about it as where are they in working with you? Who are they right now to you? Are they a buyer? Are they a seller? Are they warm, meaning you just met them and you're trying to figure out if they're transacting now? If it's a lead that came in off your website. Or are they hot and they said, I'm buying right now in the next 60 to 90 days. So understanding who they are and where they are in that journey is what you use this section for. Now, that could also be somebody who's close. Could be somebody you worked with in the past and now they're done. They're not doing anything. That's fine too. It's just understanding that they're not working with you is just as helpful, right? So this section is all about that journey. We also have tags. Tags are more static. You just put them on there and then you can keep using them. So things like tracking who's on your holiday card list, newsletter, that kind of stuff. Tags are good for that. So we have both. So starting off with what we call stages. That's warm, hot, in contract, closed, and lost. Think of those as the journey, right? If you've been in any kind of coaching, a lot of people talk about who's on your warm list, who's on your hot list. That's exactly what we're mimicking here. So you see warm list and hot list. So this person is on my hot list. Right below it, you're going to see what we call segment. This is who the person is to you. So in this case, I have a person who is hot and they are a buyer. They're a hot buyer to me. So where on the journey they are and who they are to you right now. Below that, you're going to see what we call next steps. So next steps are all the things you need to get done to advance somebody to the next stage. So I get a lead that comes in from my website. What are the things I do to follow up with them to move them from warm to hot? Or I've got a hot seller. What are the things I need to move them from hot to in contract? I've gotten their listing, right? What are the things I need to do? Some people use steps religiously because they love that repeatable checklist. And that's exactly the way to think of it. It's just like a checklist and you check off all the things you do and you work down it. You know exactly where you are. So I've got Zach here. Where am I in that flow? Other people don't use steps at all. And that's totally fine. So it's up to you. You can remove them. You can add them. I'm going to show you how to use them and I'll show you settings in a second. So let's take a look at that. So I'm going to go to this demo account. This is what your account's going to look like when you first come in. You're going to have that agenda that's got the getting started thing. And then you're going to have a people section here. This is going to have those contacts that brought in already. So you're going to have a fair amount of information already in your account. When you're in the people section, you're going to see some different views, as we call them. So click here. I like the table view. It gives me a bird's eye view of where I am. So I recommend switching to that. Easy to do. Then here are all my contacts. Contacts are going to be ordered by who you know best. I recommend remembering that because we'll talk about it a few times. So if you look at the sorting, best relationship, you're going to see a lot of really unique sorting options that are unique to Cloze. Most CRMs sort alphabetically, and that's about it. We take all of that information from your communications and use that for some very interesting filters. So from an activity perspective, when did I first meet somebody? When did I last interact with them? When did they last reach out to me? When was the last time they engaged? You're going to see all kinds of different ones. Created, new and untouched, contacts, our AI recommends classifying, important dates, all kinds of things. But our default is best relationship. So when you're looking at this list, just scanning it for the first time, the people you see at the top should be very familiar. Based on what you've connected, Cloze is saying this person's important to you. The more you connect, the more accurate this list will be. That's why the phone is really important. So getting your calls and texts in there, where a lot of our communication, I'd say the bulk of our communication is these days, is there. So what you see here are those contacts. So I'm going to select a contact here. Here's a fake contact. And you can see that relationship section on the right. Okay. There's a tag. We talked about tags for a second. I'm going to come back to those, but tags are another way to organize. Here's the relationship section. So you can see I've got warm, hot, in contract, closed, and lost. And then right below it, I've got a segment. So remember, the segment is buyer, buyer and seller, seller. These are all my segments that I have. You're going to have a similar list. So are they a buyer to me? Yep. Okay, great. And then where are they on that journey? I'm going to say he's hot. Okay. So now I know that Aaron here is a hot buyer. And then you can see my list of steps that I have coming up. If I want to advance, I can just select the next item and it moves along. Notice how it will check off the one before it. Okay. Now, if I go to Dana here, I can do the exact same thing. I'm going to say this time that she's a seller and she's warm. And you'll see a different set of steps. Okay. So this is how you organize contacts by hand. It's very easy, simple. You can go through. You can use the timeline for context. So again, you can just scroll this as far back as you want. They should be familiar, but that's a very easy way to do it. Okay. So that's what the relationship section is all about. While you're on here, a few things to point out. You can add any other details while you're organizing. So you're going to see that important dates section. So if I want to add a birthday, a wedding anniversary, sale anniversary, any of those other details, you can add them in there. At a glance, these are notes. You can add, so my at a glance right there has 2 dogs. But whatever you want. It's just helpful for those quick set of notes. Details, lots of other things you can add. Who referred it, who's the spouse, things like that. If I need to edit the contact, click on edit. And then I can add pictures. I can add all kinds of other information about the person. It's split into 2 sections. Contact info is all the contact information about who they are. If you want to remove something, you can archive it. Click on archive. Phone number, same thing. Add, remove, addresses, all that kind of stuff. Okay. Now, if I'm in this mode, I can also click these arrows to advance. It'll just move to the next contact. So if I wanted to move to Maggie, organize her, and go down to the next contact, I'm on John. He's a A. Now, what I will say is A, B, C, and D, these are very specific to a lot of coaching programs. If you've done Buffini or Ninja Selling, they have A, B, C, and D. If these are not important to you, you can remove them. People use them. A is like a super fan. They're always recommending you all the time. Fan is like a notch below that. They will refer you if somebody asks. Network is your broader network. And then D's are people you're trying to get to know. Again, if you're not doing that system, you don't need these and you can remove them if you wish to do so. All right, so you can see here, those are the ones we just organized. You can also do this in other ways. So I'm going to show you 2 other ways to do that, but let me show you some of the settings first, and then we'll go into the organization. If you click on settings, you can go down, we were just in here before, scroll down to customizations, and you're going to see people and companies. Here are all the segments you have. Okay, so these are the business segments as we call them. And then down below, you're going to see personal segments, which is family and friends, things like that. So if I click on the gear next to buyer, this is where I can add or remove steps. So if I want to add a step, add it and name it. If I want to remove a step, click the minus and you can delete it. Again, steps are optional. So if you want to delete them, you can do that. Easy to do. You can also reorder them. So if I want to switch these around, I can do that. Makes it easy to do. Some different modes you can pick from. So process, it just moves sequentially through your whole list. That's our default. Task list, you pick and choose. You could go out of order if you want to, but it won't auto advance. Mixed, probably the fanciest of the group. You can create milestones and then nest things underneath. So if you're very meticulous and you want to set up big high-level milestones and then nest a bunch of tasks underneath, you can use the mixed mode. So those are different options for you. At this point, I'd probably focus more on just getting the contacts organized and then come back to your process later, but just know you have that to take advantage of. Now, if I, for example, don't want A, B, C, and Ds, I don't need them, you can click on the minus and you can delete it. So you can easily remove it. If you want to add a different segment, click on add, and then you can add it. One comment here, notice the options, new segment with stages, new segment without stages. If you have something very concrete, like they are a family member, right? In those examples, doesn't make sense to have a stage, right? You're either a family member or not. So if you look at these down here, these are considered without a stage. So family and friends. Business segments, you can decide how you want to set them up. Really depends on if it's more binary. It's either yes or no, then you don't need the segment. All right, so that was a quick overview on customization, but again, our support team can answer any questions there if you'd like. All right, so let's go through a couple of different ways to organize your contacts quickly. So the next option on the list here, if you're going down the list, tap on organize your top 50. You're going to see a wizard. And this is a very fast way to organize your contacts. So I've got John here. You can see he's in the list. Remember our segments. I had buyer, and seller. They're transacting with me both ways, buyer, seller, and renter. So I've got my top 4 segments here. And then remember those stages, the journey. So warm, hot, in contract, and close. The intersection point. So I've got seller going this way, in contract going this way. If I click on this check mark, it's going to mark them as an in contract seller. Tap on that, it moves to the next one. Now I got Rob, and I know he's a warm buyer. Now you might have noticed this is not in alphabetical order. Remember that relationship sorting I just showed you? This is in order by who you know best. In fact, it's going to even go across into discovered people. So if you've got somebody in discovered people you're interacting with all the time, but you've never created a contact, you're still going to see them in this section. So this is a good place to start. It's very fast, quick way to do it. You should know everybody here. Now, what if I don't know who Willow is for some reason? That's what these arrows are. So I could skip her. I'm going to skip Troy. Now I've got Jared. I know he's a warm seller. Now I've got Sloan. She is a hot seller. I got Ed. He's a hot buyer. Hank, warm seller. You get the idea. So I've done 12 so far. If I went back, I can review any of these. So maybe I suddenly remembered who Troy was and said, oh yeah, he's a hot buyer. I could go back and then advance through the other ones. So you can move forward, backwards. And this is just a fast way to organize you can see how fast, as long as you recognize who the person is, you can move through them very quickly. Okay. All right. So I just went through and organized 21 here. If I hit done, this is where I can adjust how frequently Cloze reminds me about any of these people. So I've got my buyers. That's the top level segment here. And then I've got warm, hot, in contract, and close. Each one of these has its own keep in touch schedule. You can fine tune these. You can come back to us, change this anytime you like. So if you don't change it now, that's fine. You can just hit save. But the key thing here is if I don't talk to somebody who's a warm buyer every 3 weeks, Cloze is going to remind me. Think of it more like a backstop. But if I'm continuously talking to somebody who's a warm buyer, then I'm not going to get a reminder from Cloze because I'm already talking to them. Because it's connected to your phone, your email, your calendar, very, very accurate. It knows the last time you texted, called, that kind of thing. So it's not an arbitrary date. It will remind you very precisely. When you're done, hit save. Okay. Now, if I go back to that people section, you're going to see all the ones we just organized. and the ones we skipped. If I go in, I can see he's an in-contract buyer. Okay. Very, very simple. Now, another way you could do this, I could go through the list this way. I'm scrolling. So I got Helen, and then I got Holly, and then Lewis, and Abe, Al, and then a few more people. Okay. So I've selected all of them, and I know they're all warm sellers. Big check mark over here. Click on that, and then hit change. And this is where I could change all of them at once. This is a bulk update. So I could say they're warm and then sellers. So now if I click on save right here, it's going to update all 6 of them. So now 6 of them just got updated. You can see that just popped right there, and you can see all the people I just updated. So multiple ways to do this. You could go one by one, use this, easy. You can use the organizing wizard here. It will jump ahead. Now that I organize more, see it's at 27. And I could keep going through the list. Okay. Or you can use the bulk method that I was just showing you. Click here. Okay. Whatever works for you. Now, what I would not do is go through this list and say, I need to delete him. I need to delete him. I need to delete him. That's just not, I focus on the people that matter. Don't worry about deleting. If you really want to delete, we have an archive feature, and that's what you should use. So I've selected them. You can hit archive. And if you archive them, it will move them out of the way. The reason archiving is important is that if you were to later connect your iPhone or later connect a different account that had any of these contacts I just selected, we want to make sure they stay archived and they don't come back from another account. So this ensures that. Cloze will keep them off to the side. So always archive. It's the best method. Okay. But again, I wouldn't spend a ton of time archiving. Let the system help you. Key message here is you're going to be working off the agenda overall. Traditional CRM, you have to kind of keep going through lists. You don't have to do that with Cloze. The agenda is going to guide you every single day. Okay. Okay. All right. So here's some tips as we wrap up here on how to get the most out of your organizing time. I know I've said this like 3 times at least. Don't over-organize. Don't sort alphabetically and try to go A to Z. Focus on the people that matter most. I just showed you those filters. That makes a big difference. My tip on deleting stands, don't waste time deleting. You can always archive them later, but focus first on the people that matter, because that's what's going to get them onto your agenda. That's what's going to get our AI focused on them. You can clean up later if you really want to, but it's not a good use of time. Let the system help you. The goal is to get to about 200. All the top agents I know have a core sphere of about 200. They've got a daily routine. They talk to their clients on a regular basis. They stay close to them, but in a one-to-one manner. You're going to have your automated marketing that supplements it, but you need to do both. That's what makes the big difference. And that's what's been correlated time and time again, whether you're talking to a coach or just doing the analysis. And we've done a ton of analysis on it. The direct outreach is what moves the needle. Just showed you this, but I'll show it again because it always comes up is how do I get archive? Here's how you do it. These contacts won't be created if you archive. So that's the key message. Make sure you do that. From a strategy standpoint, just if you have time, I recommend bucketing these things up into different groups. So think about the clients you've worked with in the past, start organizing them, then the active ones, and then the leads, and then you can kind of go through the list, but it gives you a kind of a methodical approach to go through it. Okay. Remember those sorting options I showed you. They make a big, big difference in sorting. It makes it very easy. Give you a quick recap of how that works. If I go here, tap on the funnel, and then I can change all my different sorting options. Okay. Lots of good ones, some to check out. Contacts that were just created. Contacts that our AI recommends classifying. Contacts that are new, but you've never talked to. So that would be an example of a contact you probably got from your iPhone, came in through the phone and landed in Cloze. Check that one out. These are all really good ones to use. Best relationship, that's our default. So use these different sorts, and that will very much help you speed through the process. Now, one more tip before I leave the screen. If you it's been many weeks since you signed up for Cloze. You want to bring that fast organizer up, look for the big plus and then select quick organize. If you select quick organize, you can pick up where you last left off. Because the agenda items that I showed you earlier, these are eventually going to fade off because you've completed all your tasks and a couple of weeks have gone by. Okay, so let's next take a look at tags. So tags are a great way to organize outside of that journey I've been talking about. So think of them as a mechanism that is persistent regardless of where the person is on the journey. You can have as many tags as you'd like. And I really like them for simple things like who's on my holiday card list, who's on my newsletter list, who am I sending a gift to this year, or common interests across your various clients. So all the people who have dogs, all the people that have a specific hobby, they run, they travel, they cook, whatever way you're connecting. And oftentimes that's how we build strong relationships, is connecting on a different level. So it could be something you like to cook, could be barbecue, or could be whatever. But connecting in other ways gives you that edge that keeps them close, and you're connecting at a more human level, not always just talking about real estate. So they can be very helpful. So a new dog park opens up, you send a note to everybody like, hey, I thought you'd like to know there's a new dog park in this neighborhood. That can be really helpful. You're providing something of value to them. They're much more likely to engage and get back to you. We talk all the time about all this marketing and glossy stuff, but these one-to-one pieces make a big, big difference. So that's why I like tags. Very easy to add a tag. You can add them just on the fly. You even create a new one right there. You don't have to add it anywhere else, and they just get added. Very, very simple. And then it's fast to find them. Just type in hashtag symbol and you can add them. Okay. All right, let's take a look at tags. All right, so let's go into John here. He's got no tags. So if I wanted to add a tag, I could start typing, and I know I've got a tag already called holiday card. So as I'm typing it, it's going to present any tag that already exists. So you can see I've got holiday card. Far right down here, it'll tell you how many times it's been used. So it's been used 4 times. If I click, now I've added it. Now I could add another tag called new, and notice how it says new. It's gray. There's no count down here. I can just click, and now I've created a tag called new. If I want to remove that tag, and click the X. Okay. This is the account we've been using here. You can see in this column all the different tags. But if I put in the hashtag symbol and then holiday card, it's going to bring back all the people that have that tag. So very, very simple, easy to do, easy way to find all those people. Now from there, you can do other things. So I could check them all off, and then I can tap on the check mark, and I could export the contacts. So I could do a spreadsheet. I could create a spreadsheet with just the home address label. Maybe I'm merging that in to print on envelopes, or I could actually create an Avery label template and then print those labels out if I wanted to do so. So lots of options, and that's really the point of organizing. You can also send a mail merge. And so if I wanted to email all these people, I could email all of them at once. Okay. So really easy to do, makes it fast, and you can reach and outreach in a very authentic way if you have the baseline organization. So knowing who's part of that, has dogs. And so if we go over this other account or whatever it might be, but if I wanted to find all the people who have dogs, I could look for my dog lover tag, and now I can find all those people very quickly. Or if I wanted to find all the holiday card people like we just did, I can find all of them. And then again, that top level check mark, select, mail merge to, and then notice how I'm emailing all those people. So this is where you can really scale up your authenticity. So now I'm reaching out to 101 people. They're all going to get a personal email, and it looks like I hand typed the email to them. So you can see how it's flipping through their names here: Dana, Gina, Harry. Each person is going to get their own copy. If I look outside of Cloze, I'm going to see 101 emails all sent from my Cloze account. Very, very handy. And then if you use our ghostwriter, I'm going to pick other topic here, but you could say, wish client a happy Labor Day. And then start writing. Done. Wrote it. And I will tell you, sending this email around Labor Day, I will have a far higher engagement rate than any glossy email you come up with, because everybody knows the glossy bulk emails are just that. They were sent to 1 million people and it's not very personal. If you're the one who sends them a nice little note and says, hey, I hope you're doing well, that's it. This will get a much higher reply rate because it's sent with your real email. It's not bulk. It's going to land in their focused inbox. And that's it. You're done. If I hit send, this would send to 101 people, all out of my real email. Higher deliverability, higher reaction rate, much better approach. So that's my tip on that. So when it comes, so again, rather than reaching out to 101 people by hand, this is reaching out through your real email to all those people at once. And that's why you build the foundation. So it's a good example of why that's important. It just allows you to do so many other things in a very fast way. All right. So now we're at the top of the hour. If there's any other questions from the group, let me know. But key couple of things here at the end. Again, we got that class on Wednesday, so join that. Sign-up's been open since July 1, so hopefully everybody's been signing up for the last couple of months. Again, if you've got that spreadsheet, send it to us. We're more than happy to help you import it. Here are all of our support options for you. Our help center is at help.cloze.com. You can chat with us there, chat with our team. You got questions. You can also search the knowledge base, all kinds of great things there. Email us 7 days a week at support@cloze.com. They're more than happy to get back to you. And then we've got Cloze University, which is learn.cloze.com. And this is where you got self-paced learning classes you can take. So take those courses, go at your own pace. You can stop anytime, restart. Makes it very, very easy. All right. All right. Well, thank you all very much. And